What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Costco with On3 Sports, and we're here for another wrestling transfer portal update as the offseason progresses here in 2024. So we saw some big names already change locations within the last couple of weeks, but now some other names have come across the wire, either in the portal or, of course, actually committing to a new school. So the biggest one that we just saw was Jacob Cardenas of Cornell, the two-time All-American, just finished fourth at 197 just this past tournament. He's going to Michigan. Now, again, this is not a surprise. He ran out of time now, or eligibility at Cornell, at least, just due to the Ivy League rules. He spent 4 seasons there, and he graduated. Go back to 2020. Spartan Combat RTC. That was essentially his gray shirt year. 2021, no season for the Ivy League during that shortened season amid the pandemic, and then he spent the last 3 years actually wrestling on the mat for Cornell. So he does have the 1 year of eligibility left. He's going to use it in grad school at Michigan. Now, Michigan, hey, as this video is describing, they are the kings of the transfer portal right now. They have been able to bring in so much talent. We saw what they did last year, bringing in Michael DiAugustino, Chris Cannon, Lucas Davison, all from Northwestern, Shane Griffith, obviously, from Stanford as well. Cannon, I believe he is going to be back this year because he had the injury this past season. So Cannon will be back in the mix. The other 3 were basically one and dones, so to speak, as grad transfers. So they bring in another one. They brought in Chase Saldate already. He's going to be a guy who could get on the podium this time around after being a qualifier the last few years and just missing out on All-American status. So they get Saldate. Now they have Cardenas, an immediate fill in at 197, where a bit of a weaker spot for Michigan's lineup this past season. But again, they were a trophy team anyway, and now they have Cardenas. They're certainly going to have a national title contender right there at 197. It was a big move. Now, again, NIL probably in play here. Of course, Cardenas searching for the right grad program. The education at Michigan obviously fits. NIL is certainly a big factor. Again, I don't know any reported deals or anything that he could be getting for this upcoming season when we get to this next fall and obviously the winter. But it's got to be in play. Michigan, they know they have a lot of money. Cliff Keen Athletic. I want to say, you don't want to call it a regime or a collective, but that's a lot of money. They have a lot of resources, and they have a great facility to give these guys a lot of great training partners. And obviously, they can provide a lot for transfer, especially grad transfers looking to have one more season of college wrestling. So Cardenas to Michigan, great fit. He's going to do well in that room. And again, Michigan's going to turn him into a national title contender. Not that he wasn't already. He just finished 4th. But again, that weight class this past year was dominated by Penn State's Aaron Brooks. But Cardenas, hey, he's got on the podium 2 years in a row. He has 47 wins over the last 2 seasons, 70 wins overall in his career. He's going to be an absolute monster for Michigan. For the Maize and Blue this coming season. So immediate plug and wrestle right there. Cardenas is at 197. Great fit for the Wolverines, and they have won the transfer portal so far with Saldate in the middle of the lineup at 157, projected to be next year, and of course Cardenas at 197. So they've filled 2 immediate needs with veterans as they develop some of the other guys on their roster. And then the other big news this past week was Yaraslau Slavikouski of Rutgers entering the transfer portal as well, the All-American heavyweight. A bit of a surprise. He was expected to come back to Rutgers. At least that's what he said the plan was for the 24-25 season. Now, I think a lot of people were under the assumption that he only had the 1 year, and then it was revealed a couple weeks before the NCAA tournament. He actually did have 2 years of eligibility, so expected to use him at Rutgers. He used the 1. Now he's in the transfer portal, and as of the recording of this video, he has not decided on a destination yet. Last year, when he was leaving Harvard and looking for his he was weighing his options. He was looking at Michigan. I believe Michigan was in on him last year. They opted for Lucas Davison of Northwestern, able to get him, and obviously turned him into a national finalist this past tournament. So Michigan could be in play here. Other schools, you never know. Again, he's going for a second master's degree, so it's going to depend upon what schools open up in terms of what he wants to pursue. It's some kind of financial master's degree. So I'd have to dive back into the exact major or the exact master's degree he would actually want to get. But according to some reports, Rutgers is not out of play here yet, so he could return to the Scarlet Knights, although entering the portal after being expected to be back for next season, certainly it's an interesting look, and it's going to depend upon what goes on behind the scenes in terms of his recruitment now in the portal. Does he go somewhere else? That seems more likely at this point. Does he return to Rutgers? It's certainly a possibility, but it looks like Slavikouski is going to be on the move. And again, Michigan could be in play here as well. They were in on him last year, opted for a different heavyweight. Now that Davidson's out of the picture, he's graduated. Slavikouski could be in the mix there for Michigan's open heavyweight spot as well. So those are the two big things, and it does involve Michigan here. Again, landing Cardenas. They already landed Soldate, got Cardenas now out of the portal. They could land Slavikouski. Who knows where he goes? Maybe he returns to Piscataway, goes somewhere else in the Big Ten, or just goes somewhere else completely that we are not even talking about. But it certainly seems like Michigan is probably going to end up targeting him. They have the need, so it'd be a great fit. Just from a wrestling standpoint, he got to the podium for the first time in his career, 7th place this past tournament in Kansas City. He's going to be on the short list for a national title next year. Again, if you look at some of the rankings that were put out at the end of the season, Slavikouski, based on who's coming back and who's not coming back, looks like a top 3, top 4 guy in the preseason next year. I know Wyatt Hendrickson is possibly looking to wrestle one more season. That seems to be the rumor floating around there. I think it's the Air Force has to delay his service in order for him to wrestle another season, and that would have to be elsewhere. The rumors out there are maybe Missouri and Oklahoma State. Michigan might be going after him as well. So we'll see what happens with Wyatt Hendrickson as well. I know that's just kind of floating out there, depending upon whether I haven't really seen anything concrete or official, whether or not he is going to wrestle next year or not. But that is another name that can be floated out there. And again, if he's back next year, he's certainly going to be on the short list to win a national title as well. So again, Michigan landing Jacob Cardenas from Cornell in his grad transfer year. They could be in on Slavikouski, could be in on Hendrickson. We don't know anything official quite yet, but Michigan once again proving that they are going to reload for 24-25 and gun for another team trophy, if not challenge, or at least try to challenge Penn State, as every other team in college wrestling is trying to do as well. So that's the latest for your transfer portal update in college wrestling. For On3 Sports, I'm Nick Costco.